Hey everyone, Zion over here from Nintendo Life, and today we're here to celebrate the 20th birthday, the 20th anniversary of the Nintendo DS. I'm not happy about it, but am I ever happy about the passage of time? Not really. To chat all about it, I'm joined by the fantastic Mr. Alex.
Oh, hello, but it's not just me, is it? No.
We also have the always astounding Felix Sanchez.
Look at us all being here chatting about the DS.
Yeah.
Fun fact of the day, let's get it over with. I was 2 years old when it came out. Okay, we can move on.
What does 20 years feel like to you, Felix?
Feels like my entire life.
I mean, the maths works out.
I don't remember life without the DS. What about you, Sion? What do you remember of the DS when it came out?
I remember not being able to get one at launch because they were just quite popular at launch, as most like new tech tends to be. Yeah, I remember trying to get one at Walmart, Target, Shopko, and I think it was probably within the first 6 months.
That last one, you could have just made it up and I would have believed you.
Funny enough, Shopko, they don't exist anymore. They've closed.
So
they've
you
gone
did
under.
make it up, I see.
No, what? Just like everyone made up Blockbuster.
Blockbuster's real. Don't believe the lies. I don't think they sold Nintendo DSs, but
I was about to say I've only ever seen one Blockbuster. That's not true. I went into one with semi-regularity, but not to rent games, just to...
did they have DS games?
I don't know. Also, it was different in Europe. Anyway, we're here to talk about the launch.
True.
Well, just general memories, I suppose. But in my head, like all of my anecdotes are about the launch, because everything else is just... I played DS games.
Yeah, I did kind of want to spend the first few minutes at least just chatting about our first experiences with the DS. And since I kind of already started talking about the storefronts and stuff that I went searching through trying to find. Yeah, within the first 6 months, I really, really wanted to get one. 6 months later, I would say. Maybe in the first 3. I don't remember that well. But we ended up getting it at a place called Sam's Club. Have either of you heard of that concept before?
Very
Again,
vaguely.
made up. We're going full circle here.
It's like Costco. Do you have Costco in the UK? I don't.
Sort of,
I've
yeah.
been to Costco.
It's like that.
When I went to Costco, I got recognized in Canada.
What?
It was very cool. Yeah. I was sitting eating a big hot dog and someone comes over. Aren't you Felix from Nintendo Life?
And aren't you about just as old as the Nintendo DS as well, by the way? Sam's Club is basically, I think they're owned by the same company that runs Walmart. So they had video games as well. And that's where I got mine. I got, oh my gosh, I think I got Feel the Magic as my first game. Or as, what was it called in the UK, Alex?
Project Rub.
That's
I was like, what is he talking about? Project Rob, I have heard about.
When we went shopping that time, I remember, Felix, we've pointed it out a couple times just because the cover looks so ridiculous.
Yeah. Well, I've seen the cover. What on earth is this?
It's not
We'll
what
tell
you
you when
think.
you're older.
Yeah. Yeah, give it a couple more years.
You're only as old as the DS.
It's like a mini game compilation. Is like the best way I could describe it, I guess, of you like doing all these things to try and like fall in love with this girl and get her attention, and that involves a lot of rubbing the touchscreen with the stylus.
It's a healthy tutorial for...
my God.
I mean, I think you've got to take it in context. It is arguably harmless, but this is mostly what I remember from the launch, is Project Rub, because I got it at launch. And some people may be quick to go, oh, it didn't come out at launch, as we discovered when we were doing the preamble for this before we started recording. But the European launch was later, and so it was a launch title at the European launch.
It actually did come out at launch in the US.
Oh, really?
But funny enough, it came out 2 days before the North American launch. Yeah, it was just one of those where it just hit the shelves early. So Wikipedia claims it came out November 18th.
You know, that means that somebody out there bought Project Rub before a DS.
I mean, if you saw this on the shelf...
Sorry, Feel the Magic XYXX or what?
Alex, was Project Robbed also your first Nintendo DS game?
Yes, but in conjunction with another game. I also got, obviously, Metroid Prime First Hunt. That was a weird thing, but good. I liked it. But also Super Mario 64 DS.
I remember that. We'll talk about that. I didn't get that at launch. I didn't get anything at launch. I was 2, remember? But I do remember playing the DS at a juggling convention. I have told this story sometime, but that was my first time actually playing video games on the DS, and it was just Mario Kart DS.
You said that with such casual conviction, didn't you?
I mean, when you got a dad who's a juggler and a mom who's a clown, stuff like that becomes the day-to-day basis, doesn't it?
Is that what we have those photos from of you like sitting in the?
Yeah. I'll send them to you so you can include them right now. Wow, look at me, I'm so tiny.
What a child!
Oh my gosh, is he
Wouldn't that
too?
be funny if I couldn't find the pictures.
Doesn't he grow up to be Felix from Nintendo Life?
I think so. I think you're right. Maybe he'll sign my DS someday.
I'll gladly do it, Tim. Just bring it. I mean, who am I kidding? You always bring it.
Oh, God. What egos would we have to sign each other's DSs?
I mean, to be fair, before I joined this job, I would die to have a DS signed by you two. That'd be lovely.
Yo, you flatter us.
Well, now
you flatter us.
Now we die to have a DS signed by you.
After Project Rob, I know it wasn't called like that. What did you then get? What's like the first really good experience you remember with the DS?
So I just want to point out, actually, my first DS title, now that I think about it, was Mr. Driller Drill Spirits. Because I was obsessed with this game before. Like, I played it in an arcade one time. I probably told this story before, but I was going to where Elvis lived, Graceland, in Tennessee on vacation, and we found a Mr. Driller arcade cabinet, and I played it for like an hour, and then finally found out that was coming to DS, and I wanted to get Feel the Magic, but my grandpa wasn't very interested in buying me a game with like a lady in a swimsuit on the front cover. So
not unreasonable.
Yeah, I had to get that one on my own. Thankfully, it has a T rating. But then after that, I played stuff like Trace Memory. I've talked about it before on the channel. Another Code Recollection or Another Code R or whatever. I had Star Wars Episode 3: Revenge of the Sith. Did either of you play that one by chance?
Oh
no!
It's a pretty good like side-scrolling like hack and slash beat 'em up, I suppose, but just all like.
Oh, sorry, I thought you said the Lego version.
Oh no, just straight up, just regular Star Wars 3.
I remember Episode 3 Lego version. That was.
Oh, do you
that
really?
Was the stuff. This one level in particular, which I just played over and over again. I don't remember actually playing much of the game, but I played that level. There's a bunch of lava and you have to jump on like blocks before it like sinks into the lava as Anakin. It was quite cool.
Oh man!
So you said this was a side scroller?
Yeah, it had pixel art, and then it also had like they brought this game to the Game Boy Advance as well, but the DS version had these cool like spaceship battles that like looking at the back of the box here, it says that it did do like multiplayer, so you could, if multiple people had the game, you could link up and play. But I didn't know a single other person that had this game. But yeah, I think, and then Mario Kart actually was probably also one of the first like early DS games for me too. I remember, yeah, like as we've talked about before, right? You could do the single card multiplayer where like only one person had the game, but then everybody else would have to be, what character was it?
Shy Guy.
Yep, everyone was Shy Guy.
And also the audio was a lot lower quality. Like the audio was substantially. That's like, I think the first time I understood bit rates.
Oh, really?
Even, sort of like to a basic degree, because I remember just thinking, why does it sound so much worse? And obviously it's because it's compressed.
Yeah.
But at the time I was just like, this is terrible. Why is it so much worse? I'm happy I'm the one with the cartridge.
I don't remember that, but I think I was too young to understand that because I played a lot with my friends at school. We would all bring our DS Lites because that was what was in at the time.
Right, because school, right?
Yeah, luckily, I don't know if you remembered, but there was like a certain point where suddenly it was like you could understand, okay, this looks good, this looks bad. Like when I was little, I had a home recording of Chicken Little recorded in a cinema, and I thought it was great. Now thinking back on it, the audio was horrible and the visuals were just outright.
But you were okay with it,
yeah. But at the time, I was having, yeah, because you don't understand until suddenly it's like, now I only want 4K.
And you watch this on your DS.
I mean, I suppose think of all the. Oh my gosh, could you imagine? You didn't watch it on your DS, right?
No, I did not.
I don't know how you'd manage it back then, but yeah, that'd be something, wouldn't it?
Do you guys remember some other earlier like DS titles for yourselves?
I mean, Super Mario 64 DS obviously springs to mind, and we could, in theory, do an entire video about that. But one thing I will just point out is I didn't fully appreciate the difference between a D-pad and an analog stick. I knew the difference, physically. I wasn't an idiot. But I do remember being frustrated that I couldn't move like I could on the N64, and I didn't quite twig that I thought it was more to do with the run button rather than the control pad. And I remember thinking, why is there a run button? There shouldn't be a run button. It should just run and then it'll be fine. And it really wouldn't have been. I really wish Nintendo would do something with that version of the game, because there's some really cool stuff in there. There's also some lackluster stuff. I wouldn't say it's as good as the N64 version, but it would be kind of cool if they did kind of like a Super Mario 64 plus DS, or I mean, that's a terrible title.
Yeah.
Almost as bad as Super Mario 64 times 4, but because that was the original title for it.
Was it really?
Yeah, because it was going to be a 4-player multiplayer game primarily.
Wow.
And then they were like, let's have 3 players. No, there are 4. No, there are 4. Yoshi, of course.
I mean, this was my first time playing Mario 64 in any form. I didn't have a Nintendo 64, and I remember I loved the hat mechanic, that you just took on a hat. You could be Yoshi, then you find a Mario hat, and then you become Mario. Thought that was the coolest stuff ever. And then the mini games, I spent so much time inside the mini games.
The mini games were great.
Bum, 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 bum. There's one with Yoshi, like picking flowers. There's one where you're rolling. The one where you roll the big snowball.
Oh, yeah.
They're really good.
Yeah.
It's a good minigame collection.
Like the trampoline one, I always remember when you got different Marios bouncing around and you got to draw the trampolines. That was good.
Yeah, the fan favorite where you have to find the odd one out. Like he's wanted, and there's a bunch of faces, and you have to find it.
I also first played Super Mario 64 on the DS. I've spent more time with it now on the N64 since, but like hearing you guys talk about all the different mini games and the hat mechanic and things like that makes me really want to like go boot it back up on the DS and see like how many memories it pulls me back into. Because yeah, I wasn't too bothered by the D-pad, but I didn't know any better. Kind of like Felix and his bootleg Chicken Little, which is just so sweet.
I rewatched the movie the other day. I don't think it's great.
Which version? The 4K or the 144p?
I tried booting up because I have it still on DVD.
Oh my god!
Like my mom had drawn a little sketch on it, but it doesn't work anymore. Like it doesn't recognize it. But I have bought the movie because I have it's just great.
Yeah.
I don't think it's a great movie, but a lot of nostalgia. So I think it's great. Either way, sorry for derailing.
If we're talking about chicken films, Chicken Run is obviously superior.
Chicken Run is very good. I will.
That film stands up. The sequel, absolute toot by comparison.
Oh no!
It is fine, but that is all it is. And when you're coming up against the original Chicken Run,
but enough about chickens.
But anyway, let's not get onto that. Also, the recasting, there are issues in that regard. But let's not get on with it. Although, they were right to ditch Mel Gibson. Anyway. On that topic, is anyone familiar with the Viva Pinata series?
Yeah, I don't like that the animals die. That was quite heart-wrenching.
They don't die. They get smashed to pieces and then get reconstituted outside of your gut.
Don't they get? Oh, okay. I was like, don't they get eaten sometimes?
Oh, well, yeah. And they eat the candy within them, which is presumably their soul. And so their soul gets consumed, but their body's fine. It's okay.
It's very innocent. Circle of life.
There was a version released for the DS, which is a bit of an interesting one. I got it significantly down the line, but it's one of the weirdest DS games in my view, and that is stiff competition. But just the fact that it is entirely, by this point, Viva Pinata was not only a rare thing, it had never been out on any other system. It had only been out on 360, and then all of a sudden it just appeared on DS.
Yeah.
And I can't remember the story precisely, but from what I remember, the only reason it was greenlit was because a couple of people at Rare just basically made it in their spare time, or at least a working prototype. And the people responsible, be it Microsoft, be it Rare, I don't know, they just presented it to them, and they were so impressed because it is essentially the same game as the 360 one. I mean, it's been stripped back a little bit, but not by anywhere near as much as you would expect. It's still 3D.
Is it really? Wow.
And they were so impressed, they were basically just like, okay, yeah, you might as well. This is so impressive. We'll just let you do it. But the fact that it's running on the DS is just great fun. I think it's just a weird oddity, like a weird period. It even says on the back, actually, because I'm looking at it now, it says Microsoft Game Studios on there. I knew it was published by THQ, but it says Microsoft Game Studios. How about that?
So, I'm not much of a Pokemon guy, but the DS is where I played the Pokemon game that I really liked.
Oh, really?
And that is Pokemon Diamond.
Ooh.
I loved Pokemon Diamond. It was just one of those games that I didn't know much about Pokemon. I didn't talk much with people about video games other than when we played Mario Kart or whatnot. But there was another kid in school and he had Pokemon Pearl. So we would kind of go compare like all the differences in it. It's like, oh, I don't remember this place. But oh, you have these Pokemon. It was the Pokemon experience, what they wanted. Like we didn't trade, but it was still so cool to see, all that and all the Pokemons from Pokemon Gen 4 are like, the normal Pokemon for everyone else. It's just what I grew up with. I remember the beaver Pokemon. I don't remember the names, but there was a beaver Pokemon that was everywhere.
Badoo?
And my starter was, of course, Chimchar, I believe his name is, the little fire monkey. I just only used that.
I went with Turtwig myself, but
I mean, all the starters are pretty good, I would say. But yeah, just it was the one time Pokemon really clicked with me. So thank you, DS, for giving me that.
I have my own little soft spot for Diamond as well. Nowadays, I wouldn't say it's my favorite. It's the one I've played the most. I think I've put like 400 plus hours, maybe 600 hours into it.
What?
I did a lot of egg hatching. So a lot of it was just holding up and down in the long route by the daycare center. But no, I imported my copy. I brought this up a number of times on the channel, but I can't let this pass. I imported my copy from America. And so I thought, wow, I've got Pokemon early. I'm going to be so cool. I'm going to be the best. I was like 14 or 15 at the time, and that's not a cool thing to do. So instead, I was just this weirdo that got Pokemon early, and everyone else was like, okay.
I'm sorry, I said it was because I thought, it's region locked. Wait, no, the DS isn't region locked. That's right.
wow, it launched 3 months earlier in North America. So you really were like in the right circles. You were so cool, and people would have done anything to steal your DS and play it for a while.
The one person who I think would have been impressed also imported it early. So
okay.
Did you have someone to play with then? In that case,
yeah, pretty sure. Anyway, I mean, it was a long time ago, but I'm fairly certain I played that early with my friend George, my oldest friend. We've been friends since we were born, literally.
Oh, that's sweet.
As much as newborns can be friends.
What was your starter choice? Do you recall?
Torterra? That's Diamond, isn't it? Yeah.
Turtwig. Yeah.
Turtwig, yeah.
Beep bloop. Another game I really want to just quickly mention is Sion. I played this actually on my 3DS when I was at your place. It's Bomberman Land Touch 2.
Oh, right.
This is a game made by Hudson, so they also made the Mario parties. And you can definitely feel that because it is just a minigame collection. And I played it again and it holds up. You know, there's so many games you play growing up and you think, I mean, they were great when I played them, but now looking back, not so much. But it's genuinely good mini games and very satisfying to play. So yeah, if anyone needs a good game, play that. I don't hear anyone talking about it, but it's great.
This is great because I have so many photos and random bits of video of you just playing this game. Like when we went on the hike around like that Kusen-Saheli Falls, and Alex, I've got a video of Felix just like sitting by this kind of like body of water, like this little mini waterfall running, and he's just playing Bomberman Land Touch 2. But you're right, the visuals are great. It uses pixel art, and there's like this really cool overworld, and I like the kind of like side questing you get to do. I think it'd be really cool to have a Mario Party, like have a Bomberman Land. Dude, maybe that's it. Maybe someday we'll get a Mario Party game that plays like Bomberman, where it's Bomberman Land.
I would love that. Like just more emphasis on the single player experience, because yes, you can play this game with other people, but it is mainly focused for just one person. What are some games you want to highlight, Sion? Let's hear it.
So for me, another big one is Phoenix Wright, Ace Attorney.
Oh,
that was like the first game for me, I think, that made me feel like an adult. I think because of the graphical nature of the game, you know, like people getting murdered, you're playing as a lawyer, a defense attorney, and you're trying to, you know, get to the bottom of things. There's a lot of really heart-tugging moments. The humor is really solid and kind of keeps you engaged. And I wasn't like a big book reader, and I think this was like the first. Yeah, I think this was really the first thing that kind of pulled me into not a video game's narrative, but like the first time I got hooked on like a visual novel, besides like Trace Memory or another Code R.
Who's your favorite character?
Oh gosh, I really like is it Mia? Is it the younger is that her name? Not Maya.
I think Mia is the older sister.
Then Maya, I think, is my favorite, just because of she's so silly. She's a big goofball, and she always keeps the jokes rolling.
I mean, the game is great. You were talking about the first one specifically, right?
Yeah, but we can totally talk about all three, because have you played all three now, Felix?
I've not played all three. I started the third one because I've played the first and second. I started the third one, and then Metaphor Refantasio came out, and I've been kind of busy ever since. So I just kind of put it to the side. I'll get back to it in the new year, I think, because I've heard really great things. I have actually finished the first and second case.
Yeah.
No, I'm in the second case. Never mind me, but it's good stuff. Very, very good.
It's one of those, I've only played the first two and have never even started the third. And so, yeah,
Oh, we should do that together then. Like play it side by side whenever we get the chance.
Oh, that'd be sweet. You do chapter by chapter or something. Yeah, or case by case.
Alex, join us. We can be the Ace Attorney boys.
I've been meaning to play Ace Attorney properly ever since I played one very briefly on the 3DS. Sorry to change direction again. And I played it on it wasn't a development unit, but it was a capture unit, which had these great big massive cables coming out the back of the 3DS. And I can't explain it in too much detail because it was a loaner from Nintendo. And so I don't have it anymore. Sad. But as a result, it was really heavy. So it was very uncomfortable to play. I still got really into it, but I never went back to it because I had to play it on that specific console. And I was like, you're all right. I'm not going to bother.
It was the predecessor to Ring Fit Adventure. You got in shape playing games.
That absolutely didn't happen, but it would have been fun if it had.
You kind of raised a question almost, Alex, that I wanted to bring up was, what's a DS game that you always wanted to play back in the day, or maybe you've heard about now, that you've each not played still to this day?
I do have a game, because I played Mario and Luigi, what was it called? Partners in Time. The second one, that was the Mario and Luigi game I played, and I thought it was so freaky. I got really scared by it, but it was great. I had great fun. But it was like aliens coming in and invading the land, and like it was scary, traveling back in
Good
time.
game. I like it.
I never got around to play Bowser's Inside Story, so I really want to play that because I've heard so great things. It's now also on the 3DS.
Oh,
so,
right.
I'm very, very excited to try that out. So yeah, that's my game.
Alex, what about you?
For me, there's not many. The DS, a lot of the time, I really love my DS, don't get me wrong, but a lot of the time I was looking at the bigger consoles, so there was nothing ever that really sort of like stood out to me. I was, sort of like getting interested in things like the 360, and I never really got into the Wii when I was younger. So there's nothing major, although there is one exception to that rule, and that is The Legend of Zelda Spirit Tracks. I have never played it, and I would bloody love to. I've got Phantom Hourglass, and that's Phantom Hourglass. I'll never get over the thing where you've got to like press the like stamp onto the map or something like that.
Yeah.
It's just like, this makes no sense. I cannot possibly work this out. It's giving me nothing, and it turns out you got to close your DS. I mean, don't get me wrong, it's ingenious, but utterly infuriating because it suddenly becomes meta. And it's like, I don't want this. And maybe they did some breadcrumbs with the likes of the microphone and stuff like that, but it wasn't enough for me. And I think in the end, we just, like, eventually my brother and I, we worked it out. We did it because I think we just closed the DS because we were annoyed with it and we had to have lunch or something like that.
Sure.
We came back and it's just like, it worked. And we were like, did you just have to leave it alone for a while? That makes no sense.
Did you do it when I wasn't looking and then you put it back down?
I think there may have been some accusations at the time.
I mean, quickly, I just want to add to a point. You briefly mentioned the microphone, and that I remembered. I never finished Bomberman Land Touch 2 because there was a mini game where you had to use the microphone, and my microphone was broken. It didn't work.
Way.
So I never finished the game, and that was why I was so invested in finishing it when we were hanging out, because I kind of just started it and was like, wait, I'm at a point where I don't remember this. So that's just really cool.
Have you finished it now, or are you still playing?
No, I finished it actually on the plane when I was going back.
Oh my
from the
gosh,
States.
amazing.
So
what about you, Zion? What's a DS game that's eluded you?
There's this one called Avalon Code. I think it's a turn-based RPG.
Oh yeah, I think I've heard of that.
It's made by the people that did the Final Fantasy 3 and Final Fantasy 4 remakes on DS as well. And this stars like two mages, I think. I mean, honestly, that's genuinely how little I know about the game. It looks like two characters from Final Fantasy 4. It looks like anybody who knows, it's Palom and Porum.
Oh.
I don't really ever hear anybody talking about it. And I think, to me, that also just kind of makes the game a bit more exciting, is that, like, it's, in my mind, it's still such a, not even a hidden gem. It's just, I feel like in this day and age, like, it's so easy for us to know so much about so many different games. And this one still is kind of a mystery to me, and it's always interested me. So maybe what I'll do tonight before bed is pop this in my DS and play it for a half an hour so I can actually say something about it beyond just that the visuals look cool and that it was made by these cool developers.
I'm looking at the box art. It looks absolutely gorgeous. I've never heard of this game.
Yeah.
But looking at it, it looks really cool. Has it only come out for the DS?
Yeah, it never got re-released anywhere that I've seen. Well, we could sit around and chat about DS games all day, but we could also sit around and play DS games all day. So maybe we should wrap up this chat and just go sit down, kick back, play some Field of Magic for 10 minutes, some Mario Kart. And maybe next time we hang out together, all three of us, we can actually sit down and play some Mario Kart. I'll be Shy Guy. I don't care if I forget my cartridge.
Alex, you need to bring your chunky DS. I want to see one again, feel the memories from the juggling
Well,
convention.
here's the thing. In preparation for this, I fished my DS Fat out, my launch console, and it is rubbed. It has been project rubbed. Like the
Project
label,
officially rubbed.
the label's worn away. The silver finish is coming off on the edges, but I can't remember the last time I turned it on. I think it may have been like 5 years ago, and I just turned it on. No problem. Green light. It just powered on.
Yeah.
I honestly
that's
don't know
great.
when the last time
Wonderful.
it was powered. Why don't they make batteries like this anymore? I understand it's not as simple as that. Don't at me in the comments. It's just make batteries like this and just make them work like modern at the same time. Do that, and I will stop leaving notes at Screwfix.
Hey, the DS actually has a much better battery than the PSP, so you're really onto something.
I mean,
here, Alex.
that's not hard. I think the PSP battery is considered a weapon of mass destruction.
Yeah, it does inflate upon life.
I had to throw mine away. I just happened to find it, and I was like, "Oh yeah, let's have a look at." Whoa, that's going.
Yeah, that looks like it looks bad news. Bad news for sure.
That's bad news bears right there.
And some people might consider this entire video bad news. Maybe they also don't want to hear the fact that the DS is 20 years old. But enjoy it. Enjoy the memories and share some of them in the comments down below with us. We'd love to read them, and we'd love to reminisce with you. And of course, if you enjoyed this video and you want to see more discussions like this or reviews about past DS games whenever the time feels right, go ahead and give that subscribe button a good old click with your Nintendo DS stylus. Thank you all so much for watching. Thank you, Alex. Thank you, Felix, for joining me for this
Very
chat.
welcome.
I'm Zion from Nintendo Life. Stay safe out there, and we will see you all next time.
Is there a DS medium? Maybe the DSi.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll take one medium, please. One DSM, please.
Delicious.